Hey cats, it's your midsole man Eddbud here. I probably, like you, watch lots of shoe reviews on the internet. Some of my favourite shoe tubers are like the Master Kafuzi, Emily Heller, and the giant stride of the Fod Runner 2. Also like the Statman Tim Gross. They're the kind of the ones I always gravitate to. You get some super insight into different running shoe models and how they work for different people. But sometimes I just pine for something a little bit different. I want to know which of the running shoes that people try out are the most fun models that just transform the run into pure enjoyment. The ones that bounce, throw or propel you forward, amplifying the runner's high to 11, sending you to that ultimate place of peace and enjoyment. So today I've got my top 5 most fun running shoes that I've ever tested out. A list like no other that you've experienced before. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and I really appreciate the support. Do make sure to hit that subscribe button if you've not done so already. Hit that like button too, and also give me a follow on Instagram and Strava. There's links in the description. But most importantly, make sure you enjoy yourself, because your time here is limited. Gotta make the most of it, right? So I've got my top 5 most fun running shoes that I've ever tested out on the channel. These are the ones that spring to mind, no pun intended, that kind of turn the run into an enjoyable experience rather than one where I'm thinking about stats and gerometer scores, which one's the widest, or, you know, whether it's better than the last one, anything like that. It just makes running fun, which I think people overlook sometimes, right? First up has got to be the Christmas shoe, or at least that's what my son reckons it is, the Hoka Cielo X1. I mean, it has got a certain Christmas tree vibe about it, I suppose. Festive footwear, and if a kid says that, then it must be true. This one's a real cracker. It's soft, super bouncy. You've got a Puma-based midsole here. Equal parts rocker design with that very significant bevel here back in the heel, and you've got a long drawn out curve in the forefoot as well. Makes for a very propulsive and fun shoe to run in. It kind of gets you to this sort of steady point of propulsion where the shoe's kind of rolling you forward, but it's also very compressive and forgiving as well due to the actual stack height that we've got here. And it's hard not to feel those good vibes channeling through your body as you're striding forward in the Cielo X1. I think if you couple this with the sounds of I Don't Live Here Anymore by The War on Drugs, you're starting to get to this plane that many people sort of strive to get to. I hope Hoka continue to refine this one, make it a little bit lighter perhaps. I don't want them fooling around too much with the midsole though. I think they've really hit the nail on the head with that winged plate that we've got here. I mean, it takes a bit of time to figure this one out, especially the laces. People thought that they were just completely bizarre, but they do work very, very well. They're kind of a bit like something that has been stolen from Mrs. Eddbud's craft box or something. Either way, I love the fact that Hoka haven't bothered putting a lasting board in this one. And aside from the insole, you're running directly on that Puma foam, and it really does feel quite magical. It's a pricey shoe, but can you put a cost on enjoyment? I think you probably can, actually. But yeah, this one I'm really pleased that I picked up because it's bringing a smile. So that's the first on my list, the Hoka Cielo X1. Another shoe, this time from Puma. This is the Fast R Nitro Elite 2. This is a shoe that I got to test very early. I had it for a couple of months before I was allowed to actually put my review up. Got to 100 miles very quickly in it, mainly because it's just so fun to run in. I mean, this crazy design where you've got this sort of decoupled heel and forefoot section might not be for everybody, but it's an absolute banger for me. This uses the new type of Puma Nitro Elite foam. It's an aliphatic TPU, whatever that means. It's basically that it's super soft, very springy, returning to its sort of original state. I found this one a very aggressive shoe, but one that always made me smile, especially running up hills. In fact, it seemed to work incredibly well for that. If you didn't like the original Fast R, because they use the Pro foam back there in the heel, then you'll love this one. It's just super springy and bouncy. I like the rigid plate here too in the Puma. It does generate a really nice propulsive feel, and I have to say it's one of the most durable of the super shoes I've tried out. It felt even better after a few miles as well once you've broken it in. A really nice thin upper here, very flexible, very conforming, and I found it easy to get a good lockdown. It was just one of those shoes you get on foot and just get out there and run. You don't have to worry too much about anything. Super breathable too. I found it great in the winter, in fact. Just seemed to have a brilliant ability to not absorb any water or anything. And it's just mad when people see you running around in this shoe. They're thinking, that guy's not like us. Did race test it as well, and it still brought a smile to the face, even on a sort of more difficult testing course. Other thing I like about it is that the foam's all underfoot. There's nothing sort of cupping up and around the foot. You get the maximum kind of advantage and get all the benefits from that new foam. So definitely one of the most fun that I've run in over the course of the last year, the Puma Fast R Nitro Elite 2. Now, it's not all mad expensive super shoes today. The next one is the SL2 from Adidas. More value offering. I suppose it will put a smile on your face, mainly because it's going to leave your wallet relatively untouched. A fun frolic, this one, with a reasonably good price. You can actually pick these up for under £100 if you know where to look. I think mine was about 90 quid or something, and I don't regret a single penny. Really sings for sort of daily work. You can use it for some faster paced sections of your run too. Another great shoe that you can just put on foot and kind of see what happens. And sometimes you've got to do those runs rather than, you know, work out these very complex sessions where you've got various different intervals and things. Just a good option for mile mashing. It's a bit like a go-kart, I suppose. It's got the key elements that you need to be able to go fast, but without all the other rubbish that you could put on top, the extra overlays and bits of fabric and things. It just doesn't need those. I think that's why it feels so fun to run in. Sort of a simple outer section to it and then a really good engine, and that engine is made up of Light Strike Pro foam sort of embedded within a Light Strike 2.0 frame. Just a really good solid running shoe, and I think you could get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and that's what running should be about, right? I mean, you can beat yourself up because you didn't set a new PR or something, or perhaps get really irritated that, you know, you've got a small injury, which means you can't do your local park run. But actually, are you having fun? You know, is it something you want to do, or are you sort of bending to the peer pressure? You know, Big Steve down the road has done 3 more miles than you and taken one of the Strava sections off you. You've got to go out at 11:30, you know, at night to go and get it back again. If you're in that sort of state, then take a look at yourself in the mirror. I think it's probably because the SL2 was such a big improvement over the previous version that it's just so fun. It's taken people by surprise a little bit, and I think it's a big leap to include more of that sort of top tier foam inside your cheapest running shoe, or at least your cheapest Adizero based shoe. Just a nice versatile ride for it, and it's quite a low weight. So just when you want to get out and run in, nice bit of bounce, nothing overblown, just brings a smile. Fourth shoe is another one from Adidas. You knew it was going to be in this list. If you're a long-term viewer of the channel, you know how much I love this model, the Adizero PRIMEX STRUNG. Know the stats, 50mm in the heel. It's not going to be for everybody. When I did pick up the shoe, I was wondering whether I was going to be able to get on with this, especially the original version, but I soon became accustomed to that very narrow in the heel midsole and the huge stack height. It's just a joy to run in, really. Short distances, longer distances, always made me feel that I was ready for the next run. Very forgiving shoe underfoot, it has to be said. Easy pace, all out pace, it kind of did it all. Aside from going around corners, perhaps, if you're going to run in a straight line, there's very few shoes that feel as good as this. I remember having a chat with Sam from Road Trail Run about this shoe, and he kind of mentioned, you know, it's one of those shoes that just brings a smile. It just always felt really exciting and fun to run in. Perhaps reminded him of some early shoes that he tested out when he was a younger man. When you just get a shoe, it just feels so good. You just want to keep on getting out there and running it. That's exactly how this feels to me. Just feels like you're genuinely wearing a piece of the future rather than some over-the-top clog or something. There's a lot of bounce there, though a very focused kind of propulsion to the shoe as well. I mean, you've got energy rods in there, there's blades in the forefoot area. It's got a lot of tech here, and that kind of bizarre spiderweb looking upper. I didn't quite get the same fun factor from the PRIMEX STRUNG 2. Just felt a little bit more clunky, not as nuanced and subtle as this one. I believe I just said that this shoe was subtle, but it's one of the most fun shoes I've ever run in a straight line. The PRIMEX STRUNG from Adidas. Well, I've got one more for you. Can you guess what it might be? Just take a moment just to think about it and sort of call out to the television or to your phone. Perhaps you can talk to your loved one that you might be sat by, your dog or your cat. Okay, I've given you a bit of time there to think about it. Here it comes. One of the most fun shoes I tried out over the last few years. The Tempo Next Percent from Nike. Or the Nike Tempo. I think they changed the name after a while. You had Zoom X here, you had React, you had AirPods. There was like a plasticky plate as well, holding the whole thing together. I think they said it was a Flyknit upper as well. It's like no Flyknit I ever used. I think when this shoe came out, a lot of people thought it was like a training version of the Alphafly, but it was very much its own thing. It was a real banger, and I mean that quite literally. Underfoot, it's one of the loudest shoes ever. You could hear people coming in this one. But there was lots of fans of it. I know people that have bought multiple pairs of this shoe and still use them today. It was fun, it was furious, it was fast, it was forgiving, but a very aggressive model that for me, it was pretty much like a shoe I just wanted to run all out. I can remember some particularly cold days running in this one, and I was just flying along. It was just one that made you beam and want to put everything you had into it. I think it represents one of Nike's best shoes all round, with all of its tech in there, kind of mixing it all together, and they came out with something really great. I think Nike Tempo Next Percent, easily one of the best sort of training shoes from Nike, that's for sure, over the last few years. Seem to have lost their way a little bit of recent time, but this is going back to the days when it was like, wow, you know, this is genuinely something quite different. I know people that use these on a daily basis. They got multiple pairs. I've seen people running 10Ks in them, half marathons, even the full marathon as well. There's a load of people using these in Brighton the other year. To think that the shoe came out like 4 years ago, around about the time of the Alphafly as well. Less rigid plate in here. The upper was nice and flexible but conforming. There was really good grip around the sort of midfoot area, and a really stable landing platform from that React section in the heel. Just remember using it all the time, really. It was fun to have like a Zoom X based trainer that actually felt propulsive and wasn't too heavy. Also, one of the most durable shoes I used around the time as well. Almost no wear to the forefoot area, and I'm not sure what rubber they used in the back heel section here, but it's almost perfect. Sadly, it doesn't seem like we're going to see a Nike Tempo Next Percent 2 anytime soon. I think there was one, but they seem to have benched it, and it may never see the light of day. Perhaps that was down to the breaking AirPods, the tearing of the rubber here. I mean, I didn't get any of that, but I have seen it. I guess we'll never find out what happened to the proposed successor to this shoe. So that's my last one in the top 5, is the Tempo Next Percent from Nike. You know I love finding out what you guys have been using in your rotations. What are your most fun running shoes? Which are the ones you always sort of grab for that just gonna make you beam and smile and want to get out there and run those miles? Let the runners know down in the comments. A musical interlude today from Link Ray with his track Rumble. I love this track. It's raw, it's kind of distorted, it's got some real attitude and atmosphere to it. Guitar playing sounds like he's using a spade to actually rake through the strings. There's a wonderful tube distortion for the guitar part, and the drums sound like they've been recorded with one microphone like a couple of feet away. Almost like a stand-up bass in there as well, it sounds like. Link Ray probably created that sort of metal sound. There's all sorts of myths about distortion and things on guitar amps, whether it was like a valve that was loose or broken, or like a dodgy cable, or someone smashed up the speaker in their amp. Either way, Link Ray has that sound on Rumble. It is beautiful. I think it was banned from the radio because people thought it was going to like promote delinquency amongst youths. Entirely sure that it sounds like that now, but it's certainly an interesting and very sort of emotive track. Go and check it out. Link Ray with Rumble. Thanks for tuning in, people. I hope you enjoyed today's fun-filled footwear frolic. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Also, drop us a comment to help with the algorithm. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you